Okay, it's official. I'm kind of ready for this to wrap up. Hey guys, thanks so much for clicking on the video. This is my review for American Horror Story Double Feature. This is season 10, episode 9. This is called Blue Moon. This is part of Death Valley. This is part two of the double feature. We're in 1954. So again, I think I've actually settled on the fact that we're actually not, these two stories are not going to run together. So Death Valley is what it is, and um, Red Tide is Red Tide, and I don't think that they're going to crisscross. I think we just were really putting too much into what we wanted and not what was being given. I think I figured that it really is just nostalgia at its best. It's nostalgia. It's just like the double features when I was young. Double features would be just that. It would be an old movie and then a more up to date movie, and neither had anything to do with the other. It was just two movies that ran back to back. One was an older movie and one was a more up to date movie. Um, Both would definitely be of more of a B quality. And that's basically what this has been. That's all. Um, the only twist they put on this is they did Red Tide, and that was one whole thing by itself, and that was placed in present day. Um, Part two for Death Valley, we did go nostalgic. We went back into black and white film, and then there also, we watch half of the episode is like that, and then the other half is actually present day. It just really isn't very good. Um, the black and white portion is really good. The storyline on the black and white portion is very good. It's very interesting. It's lot. It shows you a lot of things that It's AHS esque. We got these real characters, but not doing. It winks and nudges at. It winks and nudges at real events and real people, like the Marilyn Monroe thing and all of this. And it's just like a wink and a nudge. Don't take it to heart. It's a lot of the conspiracy stuff and stuff like that. It a little touchy. I mean, like, it makes me nervous a little bit. I'm like, ooh, Ryan, you're making me a little bit nervous with with these conspiracy theories and dibbling and dabbling and touching these little things with these real characters. It's like, ooh, Ryan. But anyway, it's all in good fun, I guess. So here we go, 1954. And again, like I said, I'm ready for this to wrap up. 1954. Old Ike is forced to sign a whole treaty and everything, and basically they are using Mamie as the ransom. 3 years later, over 300 people have literally gone missing. Um, the government knows where they went. They really aren't missing. They're being experimented on because naturally they're trying to create a hybrid of us and them. And yeah, so people are actually being abducted, and the government actually does know. A portion of the government knows. The Republic knows. The Democrats, not so much. Anyway, so um, then we actually meet, we got Ike in the crew, and we end up meeting this character who is now, because remember, we've exploded the floating woman. They've exploded her head. So now we actually have, his name is Valiant Thor. And he comes in and he looks like What's the movie? Men in Black, kinda. But he's real Caucasian, clean cut, and slick back, and eh, I don't know. I'm not real excited about it, but Valiant Thor, and he's more or less he's like a robot. He's more of a robot than anything else because he lifted his head, like piece of his head, and he has like little stuff going on. He's like a robot. But anyway, they keep bringing us more technology, and basically what it was an iPhone. They're like promising an iPhone, and it's the barrel that the Republic's being bent over is you don't want them to take all our stuff and give it to the Russians. So, whatever. We'll talk about that in just a second. Because I thought about this and I was like, why are y'all letting them play y'all like that? It just seemed like you're being played. But, okay, come on. Whatever. Moving on. So Ike ends up one night, he's there at the White House. He ends up finding this secret door down in the bunker. And he goes through there, and because he's hearing these noises and this hollering and carrying on, because again, this is where people are being. I thought they were like being tortured. They're not being tortured. They're literally being experimented on and everything. So there's agony and pain and yelling. It's coming through the walls, through the vents, and he gets in this elevator. The elevator goes literally 20 feet down. Okay. He runs into Valiant Thor down there, and he's like, you weren't supposed to find this, not yet anyway, this, that, thing, and the other. But what we're doing is we're running out of space. Our operation is outgrowing these little quarters that we're in, that we've been assigned to, and they did this right around Ike's head. He didn't even realize they were down there, right up underneath him, doing all this. And he got to kind of see there's like these little incubators and all this little stuff. And they're really they're creating these babies, and the babies are all screwed up. They just are not getting it right. They've been doing it for years, and they're not getting it right. They're too different than us. It just isn't working. But anyhow, that's when Valiant Thor ends up basically letting him know, the Russian thing, it's all kind of a farce. It really is a farce. The whole thing is, if you don't give us what we want, then we'll take it by force. And you already kind of see how we be fucking y'all up. So, really, you really don't want that. So, that was that. So, we got Mamie. Now, Mamie's back. She's back being Mamie. And she's still a little off. Just a little bit off. And, but still Mamie. Still all about the Republic. Still all about, it's the Republic first. And she says, well, why don't you just give them the space in Nevada? Just give them the space in Nevada, whereas Death Valley, which is actually Area 51. And Ike is like, oh, well, okay, fine. He's like really, really pressed to do this. There's really no other way around it. And he goes ahead and he signs to do it. After he actually ran into Mamie riding a Valiant Thor. So this is the thing. Valiant Thor is a creation of them. He's a body. Okay, so he has our anatomy, and then he has a little extra because he's pretty much possessed by them. And then, like I said, he looks like a robot. He has like stuff. They didn't put stuff in his head and all this. But at any rate, Mamie's old nasty butt and jumped up there and said he really knows his way around the female anatomy. I said, Mamie is a tramp, honey. And Mamie basically, she told Ike, do you think that I don't know all the things that you were doing? Listen, chalk it up, suck it up, buttercup, and don't worry about it. Moving on. So 5 years later, the FBI offices have this whole little thing going on, and Ike ends up talking with Dick, okay, which is Richard Nixon, okay, and there's been some rumblings because Marilyn is running her mouth. You know, she's a ditz. She's running her mouth about these different things, and they're like, you know what? She needs to go. She needs to go because here it is. The president has been saying a little too much to her during pillow talk. So at this point, Marilyn is murdered. She is actually murdered. She came in. It was them and us went in and they shoved the pills down her throat, baby. Made it appear that she committed suicide, but she actually was murdered. That's the part I was like, oh, okay, you all in these conspiracy theories and stuff. Okay. But anyway, so that's that. It was staged. Marilyn's gone. That dog on Dick actually called to the president to pay him his condolences. I said, oh. He said, if I found out you had something to do with it, I'm like, Charlie had everything to do with it. Everything. So that is that. That is that. Just a mess. Just a whole mess. And then we kind of leave that area. And then we go into the present day. And here we are. We get to see Troy actually have the baby. They slit his belly, open it up. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on this. They open it up, pull it out. He delivers by cesarean, basically. And the baby was not right. They're still screwing it up. The baby's not right. And they take and they slit the baby's throat. And he has a fit. Because he's into this whole thing of, oh, it was my baby, and I felt a connection to. He was having all of this woman stuff going on, and I was like, this is a hot mess. I wasn't impressed with this. I don't know why it got on my nerves, but it really got on my nerves, and I was really kind of over it. Then we get this whole story of how those two really wanted to have a family and this, that, and the other. And this is why he's having all of this feminine energy toward this baby. Calico then comes over and tells them, listen, let me tell you something. Get over this whole little thing, because they were talking about we're going to escape and this, that, and the other. So I get over this whole thing about escaping. She takes them up, and this is where the Blue Moon thing comes from. In 1969, when man was supposed to have actually gone up on the moon, and there was Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin, honey, that whole thing was literally a farce. Here we go again. Man never got on the moon or anything like that. It was literally a movie set. So they have this whole movie set. They literally faked it. Calico was pretty much a whore. And she had run into them, and, you know, they did too much chit-chatting, and she got the information, and then she was abducted. And they just kept her, and that's how she's actually been there ever since. So the movie set still actually exists, because, you know, naturally, they go back every now and then and still film like we're really up there on the moon. Nobody's actually on the moon. It is just a farce. And she introduced them to that and told them this is what needs to go on with you all. If y'all want to survive, you're never going to make it out of here. So just drop the whole thing of escaping and just roll with it. And I come up here when I want some peace. It's very peaceful up here. So I just come up here for some peace. See, none of that makes any sense to me. With how things are being run, you want us to believe that that they're going to just be able to walk around freely and go up there when they want it. None of that makes sense. I was like, this is just stupid. This is lazy. This is lazy. And I'm very disappointed because this is so unlike AHS. Very lazy, and I'm really not impressed. But anyway, so then the two boys, they got their own thing going on, okay? So Troy, he's like, look, he's determined they're going to have this baby, and it's going to be theirs, and it's this, that, thing, and the other. So he gets himself together. He's going to deliver the other boy's baby himself. He said, I paid attention. You know, there was no pain and stuff. But you're going to have pain because you don't have the aliens to do whatever. So he gets up there. He's performing the cesarean on him himself, and it's going to be their own baby. and it was a little girl. He did the whole thing. He did it. He put a towel in his mouth, sliced his belly, opened him up, and pulled her out. And it's a little girl, and she looks like they got it right. And then you look at her bottom. Her bottom is like an octopus. And it opened up and it grabbed the other guy's face. And it munched and crunched him, honey. And that's where it actually went off. So you took matters into your own hands, and now we're going to have something running around that somebody's going to have to get. So I don't know where we're going to go, but that's where it actually ended up at. And I think we literally only have one more episode. Thank God. Because they really turned me around to where I was ready. I was literally ready to hit the button, like, seriously, y'all. So, I'm unhappy right now, Ryan. But again, I'm stick till the end like a Chucky doll, honey. I'm your friend till the end, hidey ho, ha ha ha. I'm not laughing, really. This is kind of sad, and I'm not feeling it. But anyway, listen, I still love AHS, just not impressed right now. Not very happy. But anyway, until next week, later.